Everybody, welcome to Leon's Chainsaw Parts and Repair. Looking at Clifton's Super Easy. This is sent to me because he indicated he thought it had an air leak. I just test ran it. I can't say that I disagree with that diagnosis at all. I'm not 100% yet what's going on. It's definitely leaning out. See how far out A, the high-speed screw is, and B, the idle, and it's still not idling down. So there's something going on. He's done a lot of work to it already that I can tell. Hose, grommet, a carburetor kit in there, a new air filter, just stuff. I can tell that he really went through this. But I wanted to run this ahead of time and kind of show you guys what it was doing so that when we do track down whatever issue it is, whether it's in the carburetor or it's a bad crank seal, you guys will have some indication of what to look for. I won't run it for too long, but a little bit will be alright. See that? It should be drawing fuel a lot better. Nothing okay about that. You should be able to idle one of these down to 2800, 2500. I think clutch engagement speed is around 32. I'd have to look up the spec, but it's somewhere in that neck of the woods. So I'm going to get into this thing, and when I find out a little bit more, we'll come back. Okay, I can't guarantee that this is the only thing wrong with it, but take a look at that check valve. You see that garbage sticking up? This thing's deteriorated. Get this seat popped out of here. And that's why she was leaning out on the high end. That's what's left of the check valve. It's actually jammed up the nozzle here. Tried to suck part of it right through. So there's what's left of it. Again, I can't guarantee that that's the whole problem, but I can guarantee that was a problem. So I'll go ahead and replace this. We'll come back and we will do a test run. Okay, so I reset that high needle to 1 turn open. It was like 4 turns out. So let's see how she does. Okay. It's easy to be deceived into thinking that it was good to go there. That's part of why I ran it a little extra time. That carburetor had a problem, but I also believe that the crankshaft seal is bad. So, as you could tell, it was the tuning as it warmed up changed. That's one indication. But when I could run it here, even here, but then tip forward and that's counterintuitive, and I'll tell you why. If you have it set too rich, fuel is going to puddle in the crankcase. Now forward, if you're set too rich and fuel is puddling, when you tilt it back, it'd be natural to expect it to die down a little bit or even out if you're really, really off. Because it's going to run back to your cylinder and your transfer ports and come in easier. But when you're like this, that doesn't make any sense, because if it was fuel puddling, that would indicate, it would go to the front. It wouldn't draw it in more easily. So leaning it forward, to me, indicates it almost, I'm going to say almost certainly is on the flywheel side. There's naturally a little tiny bit of play in those crankshaft bearings. That's just natural. It's there. But that flywheel is heavy enough, if you tilt it forward like this, it's going to load it forward away from the coil lamination. So that's where I'm going to guess that leak is. So again, get some work done. We'll come back, try it again. Okay. Some more indications that I'm on the right track here. There is greasy, oily substance on the points, underneath the points cover here. That looks a lot like fuel. And here's an even better illustration of it. That doesn't belong under there. Now, again, that's not 100% definitive. If this had been hosed off, in theory, okay, some water could have gotten into there. But Cliff would have packed this up, right around New Year's. And it's been sitting in my living room for a week. Not right next to the fireplace, but in the same room as the fireplace. I got a fire every night. So, odds that this is water, I rate somewhere between slim and not very damn likely. So, what I'm going to do, let's get all this out of here. I'm going to clean those points really good and inspect the hell out of them. I don't want another situation like what David saw, where thought it was good to go, and apparently I neglected, when I looked through my old notes, I just neglected to notice that those points were in that bad a shape, because there's nothing in the old work notes on that one that I had done anything to them. So anyway, that's the next step. Get all the points mechanisms out of the way here. I'll replace that crank seal, clean all this up, and we will come back for test run number 2. Okay, new seal is in. I haven't changed any of the carburetor settings. See what she does. Sound was different. Okay. I'm going to start this again. It's a little flooded right now. I'll show you why in a minute. First, take a listen to how it's running. It's pretty close. But one key that something's still not quite right. See how far out I have that idle speed screw? Still screaming air leak. See that? Can of electronic cleaner killed it while spraying around the intake manifold here. So I don't know why. Now they have to get that and the reed valve assembly out of there. But there's either a bad gasket or a crack in that intake adapter. So this has been a fun one to track down. What an adventure. So there was nothing wrong under there that I could find other than those 3 screws that hold the intake block and reed valve assembly in there were fairly loose. They didn't take any effort at all. So that gasket got hit with some gasket cinch, and so did a nice gasket back here. This one that came out, this is close. It was taped up in place on the carburetor like this. This is actually not the correct gasket. Everything lined up well enough, the impulse hole and all of that, but I don't know what it's from. It wasn't correct to the saw. But anyway, we're gonna let it sit. I'll restart it cold, a couple days, with everything assembled, and we'll see where it's at.